so many agents will tell you all you need to pay is deposit. When you get to the UK, you will work and pay up the remaining. That's a very big decision and a risky one you'll be taking if that's your plan. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Daniel. If this is the first time here, please click on the subscribe button below. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing to this YouTube channel, as this will help us grow. Alright guys, so I've got a lot of messages from people asking how much it costs to study in the UK, and in this video I'm going to share with you how much I spent from the beginning of my application till date. Every single penny, every single pound, every single naira, every single dollar I spent from the beginning of my application till date, I will be sharing this video. So guys, let's get started and I'll see you in the video. Guys, the first thing I did to show my commitment towards studying abroad was to write IELTS. This is an English proficiency test. Now, I spent 71,000 naira to write this exam, as at that time, I think I wrote it in 2019, and that was the first major money I spent towards achieving my desire to study abroad. So, but the IELTS exam is not compulsory for certain universities. Now, some universities, just as I explained in my previous video, some universities do not require you to write an IELTS or English proficiency exam. All they want is just for you to provide a letter from your previous university evidencing that you were taught in English. That's all. So the IELTS exam I wrote in 2019 was not really useful for my application because my school accepted a letter from the university. But some other universities like Birmingham University, you need to write an IELTS exam and I think score at least band score 5.5 and at least 5 in each of the exams. I really can't remember, but all you need to do is just check out the school you want to apply to and check the requirements. If there's a need for you to write the English proficiency exam, and if there's no need, then these first expenses might not be part of your expenses towards studying in the UK. So after applying to the university of my choice and my preferred course, I was given admission and I needed to pay a deposit fee. And for my university, my deposit fee was £3,500. Now I needed to pay this amount if I can proceed with my application. Now I remember when I was going to the bank in Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria to apply for the Form A, to pay the deposit. I had cold feet. I remember sitting in front of the bank and I was thinking, is it compulsory to go abroad? Do I need to go abroad? I have a good job in Nigeria. Why do I want to go abroad? I had a cold feet, and I remember calling one of my friends, and I'm sure he's probably watching this video, and I said, guy, is it compulsory to go to the UK? Can't I just chill and probably go to another country that is cheaper? Maybe go to one of these cheap countries and all. I actually had a cold feet because it was a lot of money for me to pay, and I was sponsoring myself to study in the UK. It wasn't as if I had a sponsor and all of that. So I paid, I eventually went into the bank, obviously. So I applied for the Form A. At that time, the bank rate was 531. That was the rate. And I needed to have approximately 1.9 million naira in my account, in addition to the bank charges. So the first major expenses, or the first major money I spent towards the application was for the deposit, and that was 1.9 million naira and the equivalent of £3,500 as at that time. So that was the first major amount, which is my deposit fee. Now after paying the deposit fee, I went ahead with the whole processing and all of that. After paying £3,500, which is my deposit, I went ahead with other part of my application process. I uploaded necessary documents, my account statements, I did the pre-CAS interview, and so many other things that followed. I already explained that in one of my videos on how to apply to UK universities. Now, after completing the whole application process, I was given CAS. Now, CAS is a document that is required to apply for visa. Now, before I can apply for visa, I need to do the tuberculosis test. So going for the tuberculosis test was the third expense or major expense I made towards studying the UK. And as at 2020, the fee for the tuberculosis test was $130. Of course, we paid the equivalent of $130 in naira. So I think I paid about 80-something thousand naira to get the tuberculosis test done, because I would need the document to apply for visa. Before applying for visa, remember I'd paid for IELTS, I'd paid my deposit of £3,500, I'd paid for my tuberculosis test, which was $130. Now it's time to apply for visa. Now, to apply for visa, that is tier 4 visa, which is for students, the amount is 440 US dollars, and the equivalent is 348 pounds. Now, that was the amount I paid at that time, and that's just the visa fee alone. Now, to move to the UK on tier 4 or whatsoever visa you're applying for, if you're an international student, that is, you're not from the EU, the European Union, you're from Africa or any other continent, there's a need for you to pay what is called the IHS fee. The IHS fee. Now, as at that time when I applied, that was last year, I paid £624 per year. Now, my program is for 2 years, so I need to pay £624 for each year. So I had to pay £1,248 for the IHS fee and the £348 for the visa application fee itself. So the total amount I spent on the visa application was £1,596. Now, converting this amount in naira, I eventually paid 1,125,000 naira for my visa application. Now, before I applied for the visa, in my mind I was like, okay, my budget was at most 300,000 naira should be okay for the whole visa application process. But my fellow brothers and sisters, when I started the visa application, I had no idea that I was supposed to pay any IHS fee and all of those things. But there are fees that are compulsive before you can apply for visa. So the fourth major expenses I made during my application was my visa application fee, and I spent 1,125,000 naira for the visa application. Remember, I'm in the UK for a 2-year program. So if you're coming for a 1-year program, you won't spend as much as that. Now, I paid £624 per year for my 2-year program. So I eventually paid 1,000 plus for the IHS. So if you're coming for a 1-year program, then you'll be paying just £624 pounds for your IHS. So you might not spend as much as I did if you're coming for a 1-year program. After I got my visa late January this year, I decided that, okay, since I had some few millions in my Naira account, I decided to pay, at least add up to the amount I had paid before. Remember, I paid £3,500 at the beginning of my application, so I decided, let me pay £5,000 more, so at least I would have paid more than half of my tuition fee as at that time. So I went to the bank and applied for Form A to pay £5,000, and to my surprise, the rate had gone up to 581 naira per pound compared to what it was a few months earlier when I paid the £3,500. So eventually, the bank debited me 2,905,000 naira for the £5,000 I paid. So before I left Nigeria, I had paid £8,500 out of my tuition fee of £15,000. So I had a balance of £6,500 to pay to the school. So I made that payment before leaving Nigeria. Now that was another major expense I made towards traveling to the UK. Now, after paying for my another part of my tuition fee, the next thing was to book tickets for traveling. Now, I spent roughly 300,000 naira for my ticket fee from Lagos to Newcastle. So I had to stop at London Heathrow first, then took another connecting flight down to Newcastle. So I spent another 300,000 naira for my ticket. Now, when coming to the UK, I was lucky, or I was fortunate to get an accommodation scholarship. So I needed not to worry about accommodation for the first 1 year of my program. So, but for universities that are not offering this opportunity, that means you also need to think about your accommodation fee. Now, depending on where you're schooling, depending on the city your university is located, now the tuition, the accommodation fee varies. Now, for where I school, you can still get a shared apartment for £250, and probably a student apartment for £350. So it depends on the house you're also getting. Some will tell you need to pay 6 months in advance, some will tell you need to pay 3 months in advance. So you need to think of the expenses of your accommodation also. So at least you must have nothing less than £1,000 saved for accommodation, at least for the first 3 months. £1,000 saved in accommodation. And based on today's current exchange rates, that means you need about roughly 800,000 naira saved for accommodation fee. That's another expense you need to put into consideration. I didn't think about accommodation because I already had accommodation scholarship for 1 year. So, but if you don't have accommodation scholarship, you need to think about the expenses for accommodation fee. Now, the analysis I just gave is for a single person like me coming to the UK alone. Now, if you're coming with your family, that means the money you'll be spending on accommodation will be more. Now, unlike in Nigeria, where a family of 5 can live in a room apartment in Nigeria. In UK, it's not possible. The kind of apartment you're going to rent is dependent on the size of your family. So if you have a wife and a child, then you can't get a studio apartment. You need to get at least a 1 bedroom or a 2 bedroom flat. So if you are coming with your family, you also need to put into consideration the cost of the accommodation. Now, another expense, major money I spent was on my cost of living. Now, when I first came into the UK, my first 1 month, I was just indoor, watching Netflix, attending class. I wasn't really going out. So my cost of living was very low. I think I spent about just £50 in a whole month because I was not going anywhere. Transportation was not included. So you need to also put into consideration your cost of living for at least the first 2 months before you get to the UK. Now, I know you're going to work in the UK, but trust me, it's possible for you to stay back home for over a month or two without starting work. Because, of course, you need to get settled with your academics and some other things. So you need to consider that, okay, before coming to the UK, I need to have at least enough funds to sustain me for 2 months. So before I left the UK, before I left Nigeria, I think I changed about roughly £400, before coming. So I came into the UK with about £400, so that at least I can be able to get 1 or 2 things before I start working in the UK. Now, after all these expenses from the IELTS, the IHS fee, the visa fee, and all of the expenses I had made to this stage, remember I still have deposits to pay to the school. Now, this is my advice. I'm sure so many people watching this video, you're coming to the UK as a self-sponsored student, you're not coming on scholarship. Now, this is my advice. Before you leave your home country, ensure that you had paid at least 50% of your tuition fee. Now, that's my own personal advice. Now, so many agents will tell you all you need to pay is deposit. When you get to the UK, you will work and pay up the remaining. That's a very big decision and a risky one you'll be taking if that's your plan. Now, of course, you get to the UK by paying just £3,500 or whichever amount your school asks you to pay for deposits, but it's going to be a lot of pressure on you paying up the balance. So my kind of advice to people usually, make sure you have at least 50% of your tuition fee paid before coming to the UK. Then with your part-time job, you can then try to raise the balance. Now, I'm going to be doing a YouTube video later, probably after this video, on answering the question if part-time jobs will be enough to pay up your tuition balance. And I'm going to be doing a whole video on that. I don't want to increase the length of this particular video because this video is just to focus on the amount I had spent from the beginning to date. Now, I had £6,500. The question is, have I been able to pay up this amount since I came into the UK 7 months ago? And I'm going to be sharing that in another video. But my candid advice is ensure you have at least half of your tuition fee before applying for visa and coming down to study, so you don't put yourself on undue financial pressure. Except you have someone who is extremely wealthy in your home country who promises to pay up your balance or your tuition fee after your deposit, then you can come to the UK hoping that person will pay. But if you are coming in as a self-sponsored student, you need to ensure you have enough funds to at least pay up 50%, if not more, of your tuition fee, in addition to other expenses I had mentioned earlier. Now, trust me, it's very difficult for someone living in, for instance, in my own country, Nigeria, and the person is the one sending you money to the UK, considering how the exchange rate is really going high. Now, when I came into the UK, the parallel market rate was, I think I changed my funds for 620. As at the time I'm making this video, 29th of September 2021, the parallel market exchange rate is now 770. So between February and now, there has been over 100 naira increase to the exchange rate. So trust me, if someone is sending you money from home, the person will feel so much pressure because it's quite a lot of money if you are exchanging the money from naira to pounds. The sense of this video is for you to know the cost implication of your decision to study in the UK as a self-sponsored student. Now, there's so many people that started the journey of studying in the UK, and at the point they get stuck because they could not meet up with the financial obligation. So I decided to make this video so as to guide you on the expenses, the amount of money required for each step of your application process. And I hope this YouTube video has been useful to answering some of your question on the cost implication of studying in the UK. Now, just like I said earlier on, I'll be making another YouTube video to answer the question on if your part-time job in the UK can foot your bills. That is your accommodation bill, your transport cost of living, and also your tuition fee balance. I'll be doing another video to explain that. So guys, we've come to the end of this video. Thank you for staying till the end. I really appreciate. Please don't forget to like, to comment, to share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. This will help us gain visibility on YouTube and grow the channel. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video. I'll see you later. Bye.